Hello, you wonderful mutants. Time for video number 2 today. This is my first attempt at this one, so we'll see how it goes. I'm a little scattered. I only had 5 cups of coffee this morning. Usually I have 7 or more, so I'm a little low energy. Apologies for that. Okay, so last video I talked about crafting. This one I just want to talk about the project in general. I took kind of a break last month, was it? Well, I took a little break, and I did that to kind of get a little bit of distance from it and sort of see how it's shaping up as I'm working on it. I think a little perspective was really important. For a few months, like back to back before then, I'd really been plowing ahead as hard as I could, and it's good to make progress in a writing project, especially one as ambitious and huge as this one has wound up being. But it's also important to not get blinded by your momentum. Because I've done that a few times with this one, where I'll plow forward way past the point where I have any kind of idea where I'm going, way past the point where I have any kind of focus or any kind of inspiration. And sometimes good writing comes out of that. A lot of times it doesn't. For the most part, it's just a waste of energy. So I took a little bit of time, and I just gave myself a break from design, and I played video games, and I played board games, and I read some Jorge Borges, and just did the stuff that that you do to kind of just recharge my creative batteries a little bit. And importantly, I got some perspective on the whole thing. I kind of stepped back and I was like, okay, what am I actually doing at a table when I'm running Lone Wolf Fist? Like, what does a campaign look like? What notes do I have? Where am I looking in the book? And that was really informative. It really was, and I feel like I'm really refreshed coming back into it. So I did a poll last month, which was which chapter do I do next? Because I knew I was going to do that, and I wanted to come back into it and have as much energy from you guys as possible and give you guys what you were demanding as quickly as possible. And there's no real need for any one of the remaining sections to be prioritized beyond the other ones. I think domains is probably the most logical one next, but it could really be anything. And so the ones that were votable, and this was all in the Discord, and I linked a few things up here, but I don't know, I don't think I pinned the post or anything, so you kind of had to dig for it a little bit. But while it was popular, it actually got a pretty good amount of votes. And the categories were the armory and vehicles, the crafting system and domains, the bestiary, and then the lores, which is all the stuff that the clans do, all the setting that you can actually use in the game. And those are the remaining sections of the book. And it's not much. We're really hoping in on the last chunk. Oh, and did I say the bestiary? The bestiary was in there too. Anyway, we're hoping on the end of it. And well, it got voted up to the top, and everything got some votes. What got voted up to the top was a tie between the domains chapter and the armory, which was really popular. People really want their vehicles, their magic stuff. It's got a big appeal, and so those two sections are kind of linked anyway. And that's the part I'm working on now. So this last month, after my break, I got back into thinking, okay, like, well, what is it that I want out of crafting? What is it that I need to get done for these systems? Where do I need to go with it? And there's been some good design for that. In addition to that, as you guys know, for several of you bought backer styles or your own clans, your own minor clans are going to appear in the book. So we knocked a couple of those out. Now, back when I first did the Kickstarter, I had someone approach me in real life, one of my actual friends who was excited about it, and was like, can I do a clan too? I know it's a little too late to pledge, but can I still do one? And he paid me for one. So I was like, okay, this is great. I have a chance to be right here in front of somebody and design this thing. And this is a good way to get some practical real world experience with someone I know who will give me really brutally honest feedback. So that whenever I get to doing it in a more professional capacity with people I don't have face-to-face interaction with, I'll have kind of knowledge of where to go, be a little more professional. So I did his, and I pulled his up, and I referenced that a lot as I designed the minor clan and the style for that, and he was pretty pleased with it. I want to go back in and kind of clean it up a little bit, but I mean, for the most part, that is done, and it looks really nice, and I'm excited to share that one with you. I got back into the habit this last month too, of thinking about how do you design a style? How do you design a clan? What elements do you need? And I got a Balderstone and another backer. I don't know if I should reveal that backer's name or not, but I got their styles put down, And we have another backer this week who's got a minor clan that I'm working with right now. So we're starting to really see progress with those two. And they're exciting. One of the things I hadn't anticipated that I'm really enjoying is that all of y'all have very different ideas about what you want to see in the game, and very different inspirations for your styles and your clans, and they're really flippin' cool. And I'm trying not to swear because I'm so excited about it, and I probably already swore in this video, so I'm a total hypocrite. But yeah, it's been really fun to work on those. So get ready for those. I'll need to do another little survey between just those backers to see if they want me to do consistent updates with those, to see the styles as they go through the later stages of development and polish and integration into the book. We'll see. I've also got some really nice art from Kazuki I wanted to share with you this month too. So in addition to everything else, I don't want to forget to do that. I should probably be making a little list. The crafting system, is, as you can see from the last video, got pretty far. It is the bridge between all the resource stuff of domains and the final product of Armory. So it's a very important little system, and it's gonna kind of get wedged. I'm thinking it's a little complex to put it directly into the intellect rules. It will probably have a home in the domains chapter, or maybe even in the Armory chapter. I'm not really sure exactly where I want it in the book. But what I want in the intellect rules is just a reference of crafting is its own somewhat complicated system. See this part. Because it's an intellect rule ultimately. Ultimately, it is intellect actions and the movement of resources towards the final product. I have yet to, but one of the next things on crafting and the Armory in general is figuring out how to do magic weapons. My basis for that is going to be the weapons from Weapons of the Gods, because some of them are really, really cool. Some of them are a little bit mechanical and not as flavorful. Some of them are very flavorful and very neat. I very commonly go back to those and just get inspiration for like what should be in my game. What do people always want from Weapons of the Gods? And yeah, the magic sword and Blood from God's Eye is actually based on one of them, so that's kind of fun. And I want to make a set of principles for magic weapons that are concrete enough that you can say like, okay, well, here's how you make techniques for this game. Here's the different tiers and kind of what they do, and here's how you make weapons or armor or whatever kind of magic stuff you want to do. There's an interesting subtle costing to those things that sort of emerges as you make more of them, and that's a woefully organic system that's hard to categorize cleanly. You see that like in old school D&D where things like teleportation had a certain kind of cost associated with it as they developed more sophisticated teleportation spells, and so the cost of transportation is the gravity of teleportation kind of changes the cost of your thinking of transportation. And every game that gets to a sufficient level of complexity has to deal with that sort of emergent property of the real value of things in a game. Exalted does it too. Exalted, there's a lot of ways to get to the point where you can move really quickly or teleport. And so you're able to compare the costs in how many charms you have to buy or how difficult it is to get resources for something. You're able to compare those costs pretty easily. And their attempts to abstract things like being able to count gold is really weird in systems like that, because you wind up making gold kind of worthless when it's a 1 to 5 dot resource, and it is a real mess. Exalted is a real good example of what not to do with game design. It's a fun game, but like you really have to make your own game out of the gobbledygook they give you in Exalted. So yes, we're hoving in on the 10-minute mark. This got a little scattered. Point being that progress is being made on several fronts. This month, I'm really hoping that I get either the Armory or domains done. That's the goal for October. So at the end of October, or probably closer to the middle, hopefully, you guys I'll have a nice little example chapter for you. I am certainly going to have craft done. It's one of the things I'm doing today. So you're going to have something to look at for craft and get an idea of where that's going to go. Hopefully that's exciting for you as it is for me. So it took me years to get there. But yes, this is thing number 2. Thing number 3 is going to be some art from Kazuki, and then thing number 4 hopefully is going to be a link to crafting. I'm trying to get that done right away. Anyway, that's my 10 minutes. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you guys soon.